releasing this out into the world and just being so vulnerable and having this side of yourself and this,
No,
exposed?
because there is no me, no self. Jim Carrey is gone, actually never existed, and I know that now. So I'm able to take gigantic chances with this thing that people know as Jim Carrey. And I'm actually able to communicate in an authentic way because there's really nothing at stake. It doesn't none of it matters to me. What seems to be happening is things seem to be happening that matter to other people, or apparently matter to other people because of that or whatever. But I feel free of it. I'm free of whatever construct that appeared to be. And you create yourself at the beginning of your life to fit in and to be accepted and to be admired, and then at some point, maybe, if you're lucky, things start splitting at the seams now. The whole thing's tumbling down.
Willow, what's been your biggest loss?
I would have to say, honestly, feel like I lost my sanity at one point.
Okay.
Really? Yeah. It was after that whole whip my hair thing, and I had just stopped doing singing lessons.
Right.
And I was kind of just in this gray area of who am I? Is there, do I have a purpose? Is there anything that I can do besides this?
So Whip My Hair was how long ago?
She was 9
years old, and that Whip My Hair was the hit record that you had out, right?
Yes. Yeah.
After the tour and the promotion and all of that, and it was they wanted me to finish my album. And I was just no, I'm not gonna do that. And then after all of that kind of settled down and it was a kind of lull, I was just listening to a lot of dark music, and it was just so crazy, and I was just plunged into this black hole, and I was cutting myself.
Rashana, you got it!
Alright, peace, y'all. Peace. This video might be a little long, so I'm gonna try to break down the certain topics of what's going on. But the only reason why I'm addressing this situation is for a specific reason, and I may lose some subscribers for this, but I'm going to pinpoint certain things that's going on with this Tekashi situation. He's been in the media as of lately, and now I want to just discuss certain things that's been going on, and also why I truly believe that all of this whole thing was organized from the jump, all right? And a lot of us don't understand. We too welcoming, you know what I mean? We too quick to allow people in our personal space, when the objective is to really be focused on self, so we're gonna talk about 6ix9ine. 6ix9ine, man. Was 6ix9ine or is 6ix9ine a CIA agent or government plant? All right. So here we have this guy that was working a regular job as a normal citizen, right? He took it upon himself when the record states that he was 18, but you look on the internet it says 17, but he was over age, and he did some sexual things with the young individual. Okay. So Tekashi gets, I don't know, he gets locked up for this, right? He gets locked up for this. All right, and this is what I want people to understand, that all of this video is going to make you look at things a lot differently. Okay, so if you're a fan of Tekashi, you might want to click off of this. All right, so yeah, he gets locked up for being with the young person. I can't say anything more, but he gets locked up, and he takes a plea deal. Okay, now if you guys know, if you're dealing anything with a minor, okay, pay attention to what I said. Now, if you're dealing with anything with a person underage or anything like that, that's a felony, which means that you go to the feds for that. Okay, now in his interview, he mentioned that the conviction rate of the feds is 90-something%, right? So, Mr. Hernandez, all right, how did you manage to get only 3 years probation, okay, and not have to register yourself as a sex offender, okay? The only way that you could have done this is if you cooperated, all right? Now, I don't know anyone that actually had the I don't know, what do you call it, the power to actually beat a Fed case, okay, like that, something of that nature. But I mean, he did no time in jail, literally, okay, no time in jail for that case. All right, so I believe truly within my heart and soul that this young man did not want to go to the penitentiary, offered his acts, okay, and agreed with the feds, okay, made a deal with the feds, and basically said, willing to work with y'all, man, I just don't want to go to jail. He could have made a deal with the feds to take down the Bloods in Brooklyn, or he could have possibly told on somebody previously. But I think I'm going to go with making a deal to take the Bloods out of Brooklyn. Okay, and it's going to make more sense when I break this down. Now, all right, so now here comes the weird stuff, right? This is the weird things. When the individual that he spoke on in his testimony said that this stranger came into his job and asked him if he wanted to rap. Okay, now.
Then I did a job at a grocery store named Stay Fresh and Grill, where I worked as a delivery boy. I did that about for 2 years. I worked up to register. Shortly after that, I landed another busboy job. And then after that, became a rapper.
So you said that you started a music career, is that right?
Yes.
Approximately when did that happen?
I say around 2014.
And how did it come about?
Well, at the store I was working in, Stay Fresh and Grow. There was a guy under named Peter Rogers, always coming there buy a tea and like a tilapia, some peanuts, stuff like that. He asked me if I made music and if I rapped. And I was like, no. And he was like, well, you know, got the image for it, look cool. I was like, you know, I took it in consideration and we started making music from the deli.
And again, this is around 2014?
Yes, sir. Like late 2014, like September.
So when you started making music in around 2014, what type of music were you making?
It was more of like a rock and roll rap.
That story is true. Could be true. It could be true. Now, this person that possibly asked him this, okay, was also, you know, working with the government as well, and you know, insisted that Tekashi became a rapper. All right, because this is how. Okay, now these individuals, which I'm referring to as the non-trade gangsters, right? These individuals were street dudes, right? I'm not saying that they were in gangster activity and doing any gang type of things, but these were street dudes. And the only way, okay, you get in the mix with street dudes, all right, is if you are, you know, playing that narrative of being gang affiliated or, you know, doing music. You know, it's possible that he just went up to somebody on that block and say, yo, you know, I got a lot of respect for y'all, man. You know, can I just shoot my video here? I give y'all $500 or whatever, right? You know, and then, you know, they like, all right, fuck it. If you look at that video, none of them dudes knew anything about that song. They were just standing around like, all right, some dude here rapping. We just gonna make it look like they know each other, all right? From the very jump of the video, Tekashi is holding pounds of weed in the video. Okay, so you gotta understand. Either now, this is what I'm saying. Where did he? If this was his stuff, where did he get this from? Okay, or was he holding their stuff? You understand what I'm saying? Like, I don't want to go into too much details about it because I don't know nothing about it, but I do find that very odd that he just randomly picked them. Okay, so and mind you, if y'all don't know, Tekashi also used to run with the Crips before. Okay, there's footage of him wearing a blue flag. Okay, and this is what I'm saying. His whole plan was to infiltrate the gangs in Brooklyn, okay? And this is why we can't allow new people into our circle so easily, okay? Now, he, you know, got with the Blues, and then they kicked him out, okay? That's why he was yelling that scum gang thing at the beginning, because that was the dudes that was, you know what I'm saying? He was riding with them at first, and they kicked him out, and then he ran over to the Bloods, okay? So this dude's whole agenda was to infiltrate a gang. He wanted to infiltrate a gang without fighting, okay? Now, this is why I say we're too laxed, all right? We're too easily welcoming, allowing people to come in our circle, because here's a guy, and there's no shade to anybody that's of the Hispanic descent, but here's a guy that's a Mexican that raps, that does music, and instantly you just put a bandana on this guy. Like you don't know anything about him, you just put a bandana on him because he's Hispanic. You know, it's like, you know, it was the perfect tactic, all right? So, Elliot Grange funds Tekashi's bull crap, okay? He needed the money to fund this. Now, it's possible that I'm not gonna say that that was the case, but I believe they use connections. Okay, I believe that the feds, once he made that deal with the feds, they used their connections and got Tekashi the deal. Okay, got him the deal. Because nobody really knew this kid and where he came from. No, he has no history on anything. No history on any block. I mean, you know, he says he's from Bushwick, but we're his friends from Bushwick. All right. You know, we don't know anything about this guy too much. We don't know his background or anything about that. So with Elliot Grange funding the nonsense in the beginning, okay, allowing to go along with this agenda, okay, Elliot Grange is also a JEW, okay, he's also a JEW, and yeah. So here's what I'm going to talk about the reason why these people are basically how do you say in cahoots. All right, they're all in cahoots. Okay. Now, here's something that I want to pinpoint too, and why we shouldn't feel we shouldn't feel bad. All right, and here's the thing: he's trolling these two black men, okay, that live on separate sides of the United States. Okay, they probably never cross paths anyway. All right, but they live on two separate sides, okay, of the United States, and he's got these two guys going back and forth. Meanwhile, he's sitting in the middle, laughing, eating popcorn. All right, so. But what we have to understand is this: we can't expect this individual, this guy, to actually follow the same codes as we do, as African Americans or blacks for that matter, right? Just off the simple fact is that they don't abide by the same culture, okay? So growing up, if you pay attention to certain things, you know, your grandmother would tell you, stop being a tattletale, you know what I'm saying? You stop telling on people, you know, you was always told to mind your business in certain things, you know? That's why I don't understand this whole new agenda with this civilian thing, okay? You know, I mean, if you don't want to be a part of the streets, okay, don't talk like you're from the streets, don't act as if you're from the streets, and don't do street things, okay? If you're going to eventually call yourself a civilian, okay? You can't be a rapper and a civilian. Those two don't go hand in hand, okay? But also, I want to talk about, you know, something that's serious, though, what I was getting to. You have to understand that their culture is different from ours. Okay, I was told when I was on the West Coast, I was told that, and there's nothing against the Mexicans. If you were Mexican on the West Coast, nothing against you. I'm talking about the people that involved in the criminal stuff, right? I was told that instead of these dudes, you know, the Mexican guys retaliating against the blacks, all right, they would just go and call the police on them and get them sent to jail. Okay, instead of retaliating with them guns and not fighting, we just gonna call the cops and get you up out of here. All right. So their culture is a little different from ours, where we would retaliate with violence if, you know, violence begets violence in the black community. All right. But sad to say, I'm not promoting that, but this is the fact. So when we dealing with somebody of a different culture, we can't expect him to hold the same codes, okay? You know, if you guys have a teacher and, you know, you go out and your teacher's like, hey, I'm going to drive you to the bank, and you go and rob the bank and you drive your teacher back to get back in the car with your teacher, and he says, you just robbed the bank? Yeah, go. Now your teacher gets pulled over. You're going to expect your teacher not to tell on you? Okay, he's not involved in that life. That's not his culture. He didn't come from that, all right? So we have to view these things. Don't put him in those predicaments, All right, if you're not ready for those reactions. All right, so yeah, I believe that 6ix9ine was an informant from the jump. All right. Also, you guys got to pay attention to the fact of the matter with the driver as well. The driver also was a federal agent. Okay, these people were federal agents who also was Hispanic as well. All right, George Rivera, yeah, George Rivera, who was also a informant as well. You remember he was pushing the button on, so that Suburban truck that Tekashi was riding around in and had all his blood friends in there, and he's talking crazy in the truck. Every video he's got that truck around. You know, he's even got it wrapped. All right, that truck was by the police. It was sent by the police. Now this driver here was a federal agent. Okay, so they were all in cahoots with each other, Tekashi and the driver. All right, so here's the funny thing. A lot of people don't know this, but on the back of he got it wrapped and everything. But look at the police sticker here. Okay, so you see here, this is a police pride sticker. All right, so that goes to show you that they were working with the police, and all the while, people are not paying attention to these things that's going on around them, and he's sending hits out on people. Hey, yo, go shoot at this dude. Go do this. Go do that. Sending them on dummy missions. Right?
Do you feel like you manipulated the members of Nine-Trey?
Definitely.
To do things for you, thinking that if they was in a situation where you had them cuffs on you, you was gonna hold it down?
No, I don't feel like manipulating a grown man twice my age.
You felt like you was keeping it real.
Yeah, we was doing the crimes together. I never sent a man on a crime and I didn't go with him. March 20th, attempted murder, I was there in the car. April 3rd, robbery, I was there in the car. April 21st, shooting, I was there in the car.
Here's what you
Two
gave
April
the fans in
21st
the
shooting.
statements?
Yes, you know that.
I ain't read it.
So how you know I snitch?
I mean, the world say you snitch. You say you snitch.
Giving them money to buy drugs. He's got all of this on tape. He's got all of this stuff on tape. Proof of it being on tape. Yeah, we got them. I got them doing a deal. The other drivers, like, I got them doing a deal. They right here. I see them. I'm watching them. He's recording it from his car. Tekashi got them. Tekashi's show money is what they're using to buy the drugs. It's a ridiculous, out of this world thing, right? So when we see this, all right, we know for a fact that it is a problem. Okay, it is a problem. All right. Now, some of you may say, Jay, what is the point of him doing this to the Nine-Trey gangsters and the apes? Okay, these are the known bloods that are in Brooklyn, right? You got a couple other sets, but I won't go into more of that. But Jay, why the Nine-Trey gangsters and the apes? Okay, simple, man. It's a money thing. All right, it's a money thing. Now, I'm gonna break this down in clear form. So I want you guys to pay very close attention to what I'm about to say and the reason why Tekashi was picked to do this. All right, this is all government issued stuff right here. All right, so my true beliefs is this. Okay, now if you know the area of Brooklyn, right? Brooklyn is now being gentrified. Okay. It has been gentrified for, I believe, the past 5 years, maybe about 7 the most. 7. All right. Brooklyn has now became gentrified. Areas such as Bushwick, Greenpoint, where else? Bed-Stuy. Okay. Some areas in Flatbush as well, all right? Anywhere you could think of in Brooklyn, All right, it's pretty much even park slopes, you know, all of these areas. You know, they leaving Brownsville alone. They don't want anything to do with Brownsville. But yeah, man, mostly all the parts of Brooklyn are being gentrified. And here's the specific reason why. Okay, when they built the Barclays Center in Brooklyn, right? It increased the stocks of New York to go up higher now because we have two stadiums in the city of New York. All right, we have the Barclays Center and we also have the Madison Square Garden. Okay, so it's making revenue off of two stadiums. Okay, so we know that once Brooklyn placed the Barclays Center there, the prices of everything would eventually go up. Everything would actually boost. Here you have it now. You have individuals that are interested in buying property, you know, in these areas such as Bed-Stuy, Park Slopes, downtown Brooklyn, and Bushwick, and all of these areas and things of that nature, right? And some areas of Flatbush as well. People are now wanting to purchase places there, all right, to live, all right, just because it's close to the Barclays Center. Everything happens at the Barclays Center now, all right. So here's my thought process, right? I'm just gonna get straight to it. With Brooklyn being gentrified now, and I'm gonna give y'all an analogy. I'll break it down here. All right, so say for instance, right, you got a guy, right, whose grandmother lives on such and such block, Malcolm X block, or Malcolm X Drive or street, right, and his grandmother has been there for 40 years. She don't plan on moving, right, and you know the Jewish people. Okay, we're just gonna call them the Jewish people because if you live in New York or Brooklyn, you know that the Jewish people run the real estate business. Okay, they run the real estate business in New York. All right, so when the Jewish people approach Grandma and ask her, "Hey, Grandma, we want to give you $2.5 million for your brownstone," okay, and Grandma says, "I refuse to move." Okay, now the rest of the block is completely gentrified, but Grandma still lives here, and her grandson, all right, who's in a gang, has all of these people running up and down the block smoking weed and playing loud music, right? But the rest of the block is gentrified. Okay, so they're writing the town and writing letters and things of that nature because this is what they do. Okay, they even tried to have the Biggie mural removed. All right, you guys don't remember this. All right, this is what they do. They come in areas and want to change things. So now Grandma refuses to move. The police are constantly called there every day. Okay, just to try to fear tactics to make Grandma want to say, "I'm out of here. Let's move." Okay, but Grandma refuses to move. All right. So how do they do this? All right. We want to round them up, Takashi. Okay, we need you to infiltrate these people and get them out of here so that this property, okay, can be bought. We need this. We need this property now. Not only is this just Grandma, I'm speaking for every individual that was involved in that situation. Okay, every individual. All right. Now, if Grandma's house is where the leader resides, okay, if this is where the leaders reside at Grandma's house, right? They got Grandma's depending on her grandson to bring her that money to pay the rent. But grandson then got indicted now because somebody infiltrated the clique, all right? So what happens to Grandma's house now? She is eventually forced to move, okay? She's forced to move. And now that property is bought by someone else for way cheaper, okay? For way cheaper. Now, when that person moves out, okay, when Grandma decides to move out, now this person can buy that property, Okay, they can buy that property at that point in time for whatever price they want and make way more money from it. See, you have to understand something, right? When we dealing with people in a higher elite, right? These individuals are not concerned about what block you standing on or what block you from, right? Or what hood you repping or what set you in, right? They're more concerned about monopoly, all right? This is all about monopoly to them, okay? How many of these properties can I get, all right? Because if I can get 4 houses on this block, right? That's revenue for my kids that they don't have to work for nothing, okay? And it's going to go generations to generations. So when you look at this in hindsight, right, this is all a money ploy. Now, not only did they kill 2 birds with 1 stone, because they've gotten all of these people that were involved with gangs off of the streets, okay? This is what the feds, they cracked the biggest case by taking them down, all right? And this not only just been happening, this has been going on for years. The feds have always had it out for the Bloods in Brooklyn, okay? For whatever reason, the Bloods in Brooklyn have always had a bad run-in with law enforcement, okay? So, we have to understand something, man. I truly believe that this guy was involved with the feds from the beginning. And listen to what Whack 100 says right here in this clip.
It wasn't planting.
Get that bag up.
Even the feds was on it, nigga. The feds was on it.
Why? Because you put them on. How the feds know?
When the feds.
How you know the feds was on it? You was working with them back then?
No, I'm gonna tell you why. I'm gonna tell you why.
How did you know the feds?
I'm gonna tell you why. Because when I got questioned, when I got locked up, nobody noticed, but Shotty put 15 bullet holes into a car that was driving.
All right, so there you have it. He said, how did the feds know that? Was you working with the feds since back then? How did they know that back then? Now, you see what I'm saying? And he spun the question. So we have to always be careful about certain people that we let in our circle, okay? I believe this was a ploy and a tactic, okay, for a money grab, all right? And now, sad to say, but I'm not going to get into hood politics and things of that nature. But sadly to say, I believe, in my true honest opinion, I believe that 6ix9ine doesn't have any protection, okay? If you watch the interview he did with Wack, he mentioned that he could not afford to pay for security. So now who can he go to, all right, that will protect him throughout these streets from East Coast to West Coast? Whether we know it or not, Wack has connections to the streets, okay? Anywhere you go, Wack has connections to the streets. Nobody's going to touch Wack on these streets. Nobody, right? I believe that 6ix9ine knew this and needed that protection. All right, so his first bet was to go to Wack, you know. And if you pay attention in the interview, he said he was speaking to Suge Knight every day on the phone. So when Trav says, "Do you think Suge Knight would sit down with this dude?" Suge Knight speaks to him on the phone every day. He said, "Okay." So we can't justify these entertainers, okay, to expect them to be these real street dudes, okay? These are entertainers. You have to always remember that these people are in the business of entertainment. Every last one of them are not here to make you happy, all right? They're here to do a job, and that's to entertain you, all right? That's to keep you dumb, deaf, and blind. I keep telling y'all this all the time. So when you guys get mad at Wack, like, how could you sit down with a snitch? He's doing what's going to fill his pockets. He didn't get paid for that interview. But 6ix9ine is going to pay him for security now. Okay? He's going to protect 6ix9ine. That's why you see them so buddy-buddy now. It's like, okay, I did that. I didn't side with him. And Wack is enjoying the attention that he's getting from it. Okay? He's seen that Blueface's music started to slow down. So he needs a bag. All right? He needs a bag. And, yeah, I believe that that's really what happened. And truth be told, it's a sad situation. Yeah, I believe that this, in my wholehearted opinion, I believe that 6ix9ine was hired by the feds to infiltrate the Bloods. All right, he made a deal from the very beginning. All right, and these are things that we don't, see or understand. And how can you walk around on the streets? How can this guy walk around on the streets with no security and nobody touch him? He's out there saying, "I'm in clubs. I'm in clubs in Miami. I'm going all over. I'm outside." He's playing a George Zimmerman role. All right, you know how nobody touched George Zimmerman, for doing what he did to Trayvon. He's doing the same exact thing. Now we know for a fact that George Zimmerman is protected by the feds. Okay, so we know that this individual is working with the feds. Okay, Tekashi 6ix9ine is working with the feds. All right, from the very beginning. His driver George was also working with the feds. All right, so we have to see it for what it is. All right, and don't fall victim to the hype, y'all. All right, and stay blessed and stay up. One.